Hey, Taken Back Happy friends. Today we're having an honest conversation that so many midlife women silently wrestle with, and that's divorce. It's messy, it's heartbreaking, and it can shake everything you thought your life would look like. But here's the hope. Divorce is not the end of joy, purpose, or God's plans for you. My guest today has walked through the hard, the holy journey of rebuilding her life, and she is living proof that life gets to be good again. Not perfect, not painless, but good, meaningful, and full of unexpected blessings. I can't wait for you to hear her story. Hi, friends. Welcome to Taking Back Happy. I'm your host, Gina Granville, God's girl, retired homeschool mom of 4, empty nester, Gigi, essential oil and exercise enthusiast, Christian life coach, and someone who is taking back her own happy. I know many of you feel exactly like I do in these midlife years, wondering if your best days are behind you, but feeling way too young and vibrant to sit on the porch and just watch life go by. What if you could replace negative thoughts with curiosity and possibility, renewing your mind, faith, joy, passion, purpose, and adventure in this season? If you're ready for a little mindset coaching as you navigate change, then throw on those walking shoes, pop in those earbuds, and join me right here as we take back happy together. Have you had a chance to check out the Taking Back Happy Facebook group? It's a great place to hop in and have community with other midlife women who are taking back their own happy. What about the Taking Back Happy Insider, TBH Insider? When you become a TBH Insider, you're going to get weekly emails with the latest podcast, tips on creating a happy mindset, early bird access to special offers, and encouraging Bible devos. I'm having a lot of fun making these each week, creating these emails, so I'd love for you to be a TBH Insider. And lastly, if you are loving the Taking Back Happy podcast and you just like to focus on the mindset coaching for midlife women who are navigating all different kinds of change, then you might want to go a little deeper. Right now, I'm offering a 1-hour free Taking Back Happy coaching call. So if you want to get on that, just hit me up and I'll give you all the details on it. Hello, and do I ever have a treat for you today? My friend Lawana is here. You guys have met her before and heard her talk and share her story. And she is an awesome woman of God. And she's a life coach and she brings the fire all the time. And so I'm really excited what we're going to be talking about today because we are going to be tiptoeing into an area that it's not necessarily a comfortable area to talk about, but it's something I think will really encourage a lot of people. And that is divorce. So
Doesn't it sound great? Like we should have a drum roll.
I know, drum roll, divorce. And the reason that we're talking about this today is Luana's going to be starting a class soon. We'll talk about that at the end. But anyway, the whole kind of motto is life gets to be good again. So I want you to tell me how you came up with that, but also kind of take me back even before that, Tell us a little bit about your story.
Well, thanks for having me, Gina. I love coming on to your podcast and getting to chat with you. I mean, we talk all the time already. It treats us so much fun to be together to help other women to realize that life does get to be good again, that whatever they're going through, especially if they're going through separation and divorce, it doesn't stay the same. Life is always moving, is always moving forward, and they get to do that too. I think I've been divorced almost 10 years now. And divorce is such a disruptor is how I look at it. And whether you are having issues in your marriage or it comes out of the blue, it is going to change your life. Whether you initiate it or the other person initiates it, your life is going to change. And so it's a big disruption in your life, in your family's life. And one of the things that I realized right away was I could talk to my friends, But I had to choose which friends. I have a friend that I knew I was going to always be right 100%, no matter what I told her. She was going to be so on my side. And I love that. That's a very good ego feeder. Like, yes, he is a blah, blah, blah. And he should have blah, blah. And you're perfect. And you are great as a woman in the world. Yes, I love it. Stroke, stroke is so great. But I really needed someone who was going to ground me and point me back to God. Because without that grounding and without God being a part of my process, I was going to be all over the place. I was going to be overwhelmed all the time, stressed out all the time, crying all the time, and indecisive all the time. So I love my friend. I love all my friends and I love my cheerleader friends. But when you are going through something that's life changing, where your whole foundation is shifting, you want to have some friends who can keep you grounded and keep you in alignment with the heart of God, which is no matter what, He's going to love you. He's going to love you through this. So you don't need to condemn yourself through it because God doesn't condemn you. Right. And so
I didn't think about that before with the cheerleader friends because I feel like I would definitely be a cheerleader friend for people, like you got this girl, you didn't need that in your life. I can't believe you did this thing, like definitely like
yes,
or whatever.
yes, yes.
And that is good, but like you said, you need the whole and maybe something that helps you like see clearly,
Yeah.
you know.
Yes. Definitely cheerleading friends I love them and they're important. I mean, you want someone that's like just has all this belief in you. You want that. I need it. But you also want someone to help you get clarity because it is such a time of uncertainty. You don't know what's going to happen next and you don't know what you can do and what you can't do. And you don't know what they're going to do. It's a lot of unpredictable behavior because people are in a lot of pain on either side. And so, yeah, it's just like a minefield. You're like tiptoeing through. And so it's nice and helpful to have a friend that's holding your hand and saying, not only do you have this, but you're going to be okay. And you can do these hard things instead of trying to make it easier by making them the other person the villain. You don't have to have them feel like
he's bad, you're good.
Yeah.
That's it's a story, right?
Yeah.
It's yeah.
Yeah. So how did it get started? So I would say that for a while we were having a lot of tension in our relationship and things were changing. It feels like as the kids were getting older, and it feels like we were having to do more things with kids, like go take them to swimming, and we were doing dance and all kinds of stuff. So I was running around a lot with the children, and that kind of created a separation. So it felt like I had a life with the kids, and then sometimes he was part of our life. And so I was so child focused. I was really child focused. He was career focused, and he was also hanging out with the guys. Like he started doing a lot of hanging out with the guys. And so that just started. I always think it doesn't happen in one instance. It's like a little letting go along and along. Like it's like a little bit less trying, a little bit less holding on. And after a while, you're so far apart you didn't even realize it was happening until a thing happens.
Right. I can see that because especially when you're kid focused.
Yeah.
You're pouring all that time into that and you're probably both doing it to some extent.
Yeah.
And then when you're together, like, what do you talk about if you're not talking about the kids, and that sort of thing. So
I think it can be a time when your life gets too small. Because it's
like eating what? Like how?
because you don't have any outside
Okay, yeah.
identity outside of mom, outside of wife, outside of homeschooler, outside of
Right.
swim mom,
Right.
And so when you don't have your whole identity is being a mom and second identity is being a wife.
Right. Right.
That's something that I had to realize. And I don't think that's true for everyone, but that was true in our circumstances. So I'm not speaking for everyone how it goes. It's just as how it went for me. So we just really drifted apart. And one day he asked me for a divorce. And so I did the thing that all Christian women know to do. it's time for us to go to therapy.
Yeah.
I was like, we just need to go to therapy. And that'll fix it. Like we're gonna pray, and we're gonna therapy, and then he'll come to his senses
Right.
and it will be fixed. But I don't think that's how therapy works, and it definitely didn't work for us. I think therapy is a coming together of two people who are wanting to work on themselves and create a wholeness with themselves and then come together as a couple. It doesn't work where you're trying to band-aid a person to keep the marriage, right? It's like we just want to stop the bleeding long enough for you to stay married, but we haven't changed anything in the heart, in the mindset, and the behavior where nobody's repentant, nobody's trying, you know? So I love therapy. I think there's a lot of value in it. I got a lot out of going to therapy, but it's not my first call when something happens in a marriage.
Right.
Not if it's like this is what we do to fix the marriage. That's what I meant.
Right.
If you're not at fixing the marriage stage, go to therapy. But if you're at like somebody's had an affair, somebody's abusing you, whether emotionally, physically, financially, mentally, or somebody's gone, but they're still there physically, but they're checked out. Like you are a single mom and married because they're so checked out. Just saying let's go to therapy, I don't think is the step. I think you have to have two people who want to work on themselves to stay in that marriage. Because we're not saving a marriage, we're saving people. God sent us out. The salvation is for the person, saving people and getting them back in alignment with God's heart and God's thoughts, not just keeping a marriage together just to say we're married.
Yeah, and I think there's a timing thing there. I don't know if you felt that, but like we did go to therapy when we were going through a divorce, when we were separated, and it was so late in the game. Like it should have been years prior to that. And I feel like if it was years prior to that, then it would have been a lot more helpful.
Yeah.
Just like so far down the road, by the time we went to therapy, it was like really, really broken, you know.
Yeah.
Like it would have been really hard to come back from that. So
Yeah. It feels like it's like throwing a dinghy at somebody in the ocean. Like you're in the ocean, you're drowning. And they're like, here's a little, this little thing. And you got to get all the way back to shore. You can't get back to shore with it. You're in the ocean. You're too far out. And and it can feel like frustrating to go through all that time with therapy and not get any of the results that you are hoping for.
right, yeah, that makes sense.
Yeah, it's like another kind of letting go.
Yeah. So when you guys, you went through the therapy, I'm assuming that didn't go the way. I mean, it didn't achieve what you thought initially would achieve. And then what did you just proceed with the divorce or?
We went through the therapy. He thought we were in therapy for me to get fixed. I mean, he said that. And I thought we were in therapy because that's what you do when you're a Christian. You go to therapy to try to fix it, even though a part of me was kind of relieved when he said, I want a divorce. It just felt like, honestly, what I thought was, okay, now we can tell the truth. Like we can be honest.
Wow.
Because I felt like we had been pretending for such a long time.
Yeah.
Pretending everything's okay, pretending this is working, pretending we are still affectionate and have those love that, and this was like, okay, at least now we get to be honest. And so then he went to therapy and that didn't work. I love therapy. I mean, as a coach, I really love it. And as a woman who's gone through a divorce, I really love the time that you get to talk to someone and try to work things out. My therapist, so one of the best things she did for me was talk to me about codependency, which I had never heard of. And I had only heard of trauma in regards to people like in the army or the Marines, like people who had been in war, or people who may be like policemen or first responders. And starting to hear the words about trauma and like what trauma was. That kind of happens a little bit down the road, but it was life changing for me because it gave me a language for what I had experienced prior to marriage and some in the marriage, right? So after therapy, it took me like 9 months to decide that we weren't going to stay married just to stay married, because that kind of was the offer. It's like we could just stay married and show people what Jesus can do, but there was no change of heart. No, there was no repentance. There was no, I'm sorry. There was no, let us rebuild each ourselves and maybe we can come together. There was nothing like that. And so I just felt, and I think we've talked about this a little bit, especially lately. I was 47 when I got divorced, and I kind of felt that I already spent 16 years trying so hard to make this work. I just was too tired. I just was so tired. I just didn't want to keep doing it. I just didn't want to keep going. I was like, I'm in the middle of my life now. I'm not 20, you know. I'm not 24. I'm not 28. I mean, I'm a totally different person than started out as, and I just don't want to keep banging my head up against the wall. That's how I felt at the time. Like, this is just a exercise in futility because nothing's changing. We're not changing.
And I loved your answer to that, where you said, no, I don't want to do that to show, the glory of God by staying together, but I'll show it by being a good parent, like being good. What'd you guys call it? Like co-parenting.
Okay, co-parenting, yeah.
Right. Which you guys have done an excellent job at. Like,
oh, thanks. But yeah, that's what I told him. I said, we can be a witness for God as great co-parents.
Yeah.
Because God can redeem everything. He can make your family work in a different way than what you wanted initially. But it doesn't have to be the end of your family. It just is the end of how it is structured.
Right. That makes sense.
Yeah.
So would you think like the divorce, would you call the separation a season, the divorce a season, the after a season, or would you call the whole thing like, you know, this is what we're in? Like, did you divide it up in your mind or?
I think okay, we're going to get a divorce. And then it took me so long to make that decision because I didn't know what I was going to do. I hadn't worked in 12 years outside of the home. I was a homeschool mom. I drove the kids everywhere. The oldest was only 14. And so there was not like another driver. There was no other, and I didn't want my oldest kid to be the second mom. I had done that. And I wanted her to be able to be a teenager and a kid. I didn't want her to be partly responsible for anybody else. So the season, I didn't know they were seasons. I knew from the very beginning that nothing lasts forever. I remember telling myself this: you're not going to feel the same way in a year from now. I knew that. I said that.
That's a lot. That's insightful though, when you're in the middle of that.
Yeah. I mean, we were still living on base. We hadn't even filed the papers, but I knew enough through my own experiences that I won't feel the same way if I just give it time. Like, I will not feel this amount of pain. I won't feel this overwhelmed. I won't feel this frightened in a year, but I didn't know how I was going to feel. I just knew it wouldn't be this intense because time was going to change it. But I didn't know how hard it was going to be. I don't think you can't have, it's like when you haven't had a baby yet and you talk to people, or when you're the person who hasn't had a baby and the people can't keep their baby under control and you're rolling your eyes and you have so much to say about the right way to parent. If I was a parent, I would never. My kids would never. We would always. And then you think you know about divorce. You're like, oh, these people got divorced. But it really is a rendering. It really is a pull apart, like a tearing.
Yeah.
And it tears, it doesn't tear a straight line that you can just butterfly band-aid. It's like ragged. It's ragged. And it touches every part of your life. It touches every part of your soul and your spirit and your mind and your body. I mean, you carry the trauma of a bad or harmful or hard marriage, and you carry the trauma of a divorce. Like,
right.
Your body keeps the score. It's like, so, sometimes do you think if you would have known how hard it was, would you have done it?
Yeah, I don't know. I don't think so. I'm the kind of person that I'm Pollyanna, right? So I didn't even want to do it. Right. And so if I had known, I probably wouldn't have. No, it would have been too scary, or I'd be afraid for my kids, or I would have been,
Yeah.
I can't, I don't know what tomorrow holds. But
Yeah.
do you feel like you could, like, God was with you during this? I mean, you know, he was, but did you feel it during the time, or did you feel it looking back where you can see, oh, yeah, he was with me all the way?
I felt it right away because one of the first, I've talked to you about this so much, but one of the, and we're I definitely within the first month, but I think with even in the first 2 weeks, I remember thinking, you put your security in the wrong thing. You're supposed to have your security in God, and you put your security in a person. Because I don't think I'm Pollyanna, but I just was like, we're in the military. He'll always have a job. We'll always know what we're going to do. We'll always have money. It doesn't matter if the economy goes up and down, like everything's always going to be okay because we have this lifestyle. And then when that was all shaken up, it's like, oh my gosh, that's not true.
Right.
That was never true. And so I wasn't like, oh, God's got my back. And like, I got this because God's got my back. I was like with fear and trembling, like holding a Bible at night in bed, crying and just can't even make a decision, analysis paralysis. What is the right thing to do? Like nobody can tell you. This is something that people can support you through and encourage you with, and you can get counseling and you can get tools. But at the end of the day, it is still your journey. You are walking it alone with God, but you're the main character of it. Like you, right. And I think one of the first things I would this is something I look back on like midway through, I guess, is to take responsibility for it, like my own decisions. Like instead of looking outside of myself for somebody to tell me what to do all the time, like, what would you do? Or what would you do? Or what do you think? Or what do you think all the time? Because I didn't trust my own decision making process or my own instincts or my own knowing. And that can lead you into the weeds so fast because everybody has an opinion.
Right. Opposing opinions many times. Right.
About what you should do.
I heard how you need opposing opinions. Like,
Yeah.
you should stay with him. You should leave him. You should, you should do this. Your favorite. Yeah. I was like, oh. So I mean, at the end of the day, you have to decide and go fall on your face before God and like make those decisions.
You have to do it.
And I kind of feel like sometimes people think, especially if you're a Christian and like you were saying, we could have stayed together, but I decided. A lot of times people think, well, you decided that. And so you think it's all going to be good from here on out, but it's not that at all. It's like you decided that because that was the best choice out of the choices that you had set before you. And like, it was a struggle and you were crying and you're still very hurt, whether if you made that decision or if you didn't make that decision.
I think I think something we figured out in the middle of it is that both you and I, Tina, is that, one thing is that the choice you didn't take always looks better.
Yes.
Than the choice you did take. So it's like, I picked divorce. Oh my gosh, this is the hardest. I had twins in a foreign country with no epidural and this is harder. Like this is so painful. It's painful in a way you can't get away from. Most physical pain, you can get some kind of medication. You could get a band. You could get something wrapped. But this is in your heart. It is in your head and you cannot get away from it. It's always with you. But I think one of the things is the thing you didn't choose always looks like it was the right answer. And there isn't really a right one or a wrong one. It's the one you choose and the what you make out of that choice.
Yeah, that's good. I was going to say, what are some positives that you saw? I mean, definitely the struggle is real and, pouring your heart out before God and like working your way through like even the minute little things that you don't know how to do. You're not certain.
Changing the smoke detector that goes on at 3 o'clock in the morning. I hadn't had to do that in 15 years. And I was like, oh my gosh, why is it going off at 3 a.m.? And it felt so overwhelming, like I've never seen it or I've never done it in the past. I'm like,
What the heck is a fire alarm?
I don't know what to do. So I look up a YouTube video.
But
So
it's so true though, because all the little things that you don't, they're nothing things. Like looking back and you're like, okay, it's a smoke detector.
it's so
But
much.
it's so huge at that time in that moment, you just are feeling overwhelmed with every single thing.
Everything.
Just exasperates everything.
That's so big. Everything feels so big. Like, oh, how much money did I spend on groceries? It's 5 of you. It's
Right.
5 of you. But my daughter climbed up there and she undid the battery. We all went to bed. And I thought to myself, okay, we're gonna be okay. I honestly did. I was like, we're gonna make it. We're gonna be okay. Because we can figure out all these little things.
I love
right?
that thought. That's such an awesome thought when you're in the middle of that.
Oh my gosh.
We're going to be okay.
Yes. It's crazy.
You don't know how, you don't know where it's going to go and what direction
No.
fast it's going to work out, but we're going to be okay.
And I said that, and then there were still millions of bumps and millions of other little decisions and still a lot of fear. But I thought that. The other thing I was going to say is when we don't think, besides thinking the thing we didn't choose was the right one, is not making the decision because we procrastinate making a decision because we don't know how it's going to turn out. And we want to know how it's going to turn out before we make the decision. And that is never going to happen. That is not how it works.
That does not happen. Like,
it does not happen.
When we look at all those Bible stories, they always have to take that step out first, and then God shows up. It's never, I mean, I won't say never, but I can't think of a situation where God would have to first and say, hey,
follow the yellow brick road. Like,
right, exactly.
And even on the yellow brick road, she didn't know where she was going to end up. And it's that life, right? So you're either thinking I made the wrong decision because what you decided is hard and you're assuming that other one was right and it would be easier, or you procrastinate making a decision because you're waiting to know what's going to happen. And that is not how God usually processes us through anything that's hard. We don't get to know ahead of time. It's not like we don't know. And even if we're like, we're going to be okay, like you said, we don't know how, when, what. We don't know the details. He doesn't really give details. So I thought we were going to be okay. This good thing started coming out of it when at some point midway through, I got a great lawyer. She was a Christian woman. She was prayerful. She was direct. She kept things concise. So you weren't overwhelmed with all these decisions. She just chumped it off. And she was such a cheerleader for women. And even after the divorce, she stayed in touch and helped me grow my living business when I was doing living. Like she was such a champion for women. And she was fair. She wasn't a shark. She wasn't out to take the guy down. I love that about it, right? Like she didn't add to the hardness of the divorce. When I got I remember when we moved from the base into an apartment. So this is about 2 years in separation and the divorce proceeding has started. And I joined this thing called, it was a 7-day self-love challenge. 7-day self-love challenge. And I was like conflicted because what is this self-love? Is that in the Bible? Is that okay? Does God allow that? Is it okay to talk about self-love? Like, what is this? And I joined this little person and it was on Instagram, I think, and she was talking. And one of the first things she said is, I want you to go out and buy yourself fresh flowers. And she said, because they're not practical, they're just something you do for the pleasure of it. Because all my decisions were like, do I need it?
Right.
Do I need it? Do I need it? And even if I needed it, I can make do. Like these socks, the holes aren't that big. Like it was so much of last, pick yourself last.
Yeah. I was thinking that too. I put a little warning on there, 25 minutes. But yeah, I was thinking that too. Like if it was for the kids, by golly, I was gonna find a way. But if it's something like that for me, the holes would be in the socks. So, that's very not practical to buy yourself flowers when you're in the middle of all that.
Right. So the first assignment was to buy yourself flowers. And I remember going into Publix And I was thinking people know that I don't have anybody to buy me flowers and I'm having to buy myself flowers. And people are probably thinking, and I like tootle around the flower section, fool around, and I looked at flowers and I got back to my cart. It probably took me 25 minutes. And Gina, they're already pre-bouquet, like they are already pre-done. I said, should I get the $5.99, the $7.99, $12.99? Now that is going too far. Like it was. So one of the first things I learned was you matter. You matter, Lawana. You count and you are important too. And you get to make decisions that show that. Like you get to buy yourself flowers. You can even join the gym.
I love it.
Even when you're thinking that's a lot of money, but your daughter says, I need point shoes. You're like, let's go an hour and a half away.
Right.
Let's get these $130 point shoes that you're going to wear for 2 months.
Right.
I need another pair, but I want to join the gym. I had to think about that. Is that right? So you do like start, and maybe some people don't start where I did, where I've been a stay-at-home mom so long and my main focus for the children and homeschooling and all that. Maybe people do start, definitely you start at different places. But one things I really want to encourage you, no matter who you are and how you come into this, is to take care of yourself. You deserve it. You can go to the beach. You can go to the coffee shop and get your favorite coffee. You can go to the gym, because when you take care of yourself, you show your girls, especially, and your boys how to treat women and how women should be able to treat themselves. But you show your girls that getting married and having children isn't the end of them.
Yeah, that's good. Yeah.
Because that's what they've seen. Oh, mama, my shirt. So, that's okay. I got the shirt from the church's something. And so it's big, Yeah. They get to see that you still matter once you're a mom and a wife.
Yeah. I love that. That's a good witness. So it's kind of like, would you call that when you went to that class and is it you were kind of like discovering new things about yourself or discovering?
Yeah.
Yeah.
She did a couple of things. So that's one of the things I definitely wanted to talk about, or at least mention tonight. When your identity is so much focused on your children, it's so easy to lose yourself. And I thought that was crazy when people used to say that, he doesn't know himself. Of course, you know yourself. You're with yourself all the time. But when you don't tend to yourself, when you don't put into yourself, when you're always pouring out of yourself and prioritizing other people, you do tend to lose sight of who you are. So I couldn't answer a couple of questions in therapy. What do you think about that? What do you mean? What do I, and how do you feel about that? And I remember answering how do you feel about that? And I said, can I tell you next week? Because I had no capacity to assess my own emotions. I was pretty numb. I was numb. And I realized in the process of the divorce, I had been numb for a long time to my own emotions.
I think it's those little tiny things over time, like that, the frog in the pot,
Yeah.
just tiny things over time, and you don't realize it, and you're in this numbness.
Yeah.
Where you can't even answer,
your own thoughts, your own feelings. Yeah. Or somebody would say, like, what do you like to do?
I like to take my kids to swim with ballet and basketball games and ballet.
Yeah. Okay. What do you like to do that don't pertain to the kids?
Right.
I can't answer that. I have no idea.
Right.
I don't know.
I think too, when you're in midlife and you're going through this divorce, your kids are getting older faster.
Yeah.
Accelerated, and they're getting closer and closer to being out of the house. And you're trying to figure out who you are and what you're going to do after, where to go from here.
Yes.
It's not just in a bubble. Like you're not just like, okay, I have this divorce and now I'll kind of find out who I am. Life is still going on.
Like 100 miles per hour, it feels like.
Right.
It feels like you dog paddling. You're like dog paddling. When it first starts, like the separation, divorce, even the talk about it, the thoughts about it, you're trying to go faster and faster. Well, your kids were swimming or they're down the court, as in your case in basketball. Yeah. And they're still on the bench. And you're like, I'm on the bench. And they're like going back and forth in the Coke. And the clock is counting down.
Right.
The clock is counting down. And I think in midlife, going through a divorce can make you really realize that your clock is counting down. Not only with your kids, but with your life.
Right. I think that's good.
Yeah. And it makes you start questioning, like, who am I and what do I want? And how can I create a life that I love? How do I get to that life can be good again part?
Yeah. And that was my next question is like, how do you get to that part? You know, because we could probably go on for 2 days talking about this. We got about 10 minutes here.
This is pretty good for Gina and I because
I know. That's so
there
true.
are some really long conversations a lot. I think what happened with me, and I talked to you about this a lot, was when I saw that post on Facebook that said, "What is your life going to be like in 5 years?" And I had no idea. And it made me start thinking, what are you going to do? I realized how old my kids were going to be, 22 and 20 and 17. And this stay-at-home mom gig is going to be up. And we talked about that, how we don't think that in terms of that. It feels like you're a stay-at-home mom, homeschooling mom forever. But at a certain point, I think when they get a driver's license or a friend that gets a driver's license and they can go without you, that clock speeds up. When you're still driving them places, you still have that connection. You're still needed. When they start being able to be independent of you to get places, the clock speeds up. It goes so fast. And so when I had saw that thing, and I was like, in 5 years, I hadn't thought that far ahead in forever. It was like, oh, next school year. That's as far ahead as you thought, right? Like,
Right.
school is out. We're going to do the summer. What are we going to do in the summer? And then school's going to start back. And this is like, what are you going to be in 5 years? I'm like, holy smokes.
Right.
Holy smokes. I don't know, but I want to.
Right.
I want to. I want to find out. I want to figure it out. So I read this book called The Artist Way. And one of the things it said was take yourself on a date,
Okay.
which have been hokey to me before. Like, didn't you feel sorry for people sitting in a cafe by themselves?
Going to the movie by
Going
themselves.
to the movie by themselves.
I have. I'd see the movie by myself
You're like,
before.
those poor people. They don't have, and now you're out there like, I'm taking myself. You're changed the way you think about it. Now you're like, I'm taking myself on a date, and I'm gonna go to my favorite places. I'm gonna go. I went and looked at some. I went to a store, with clothing store, a boutique, and then I went and looked at. I went to Finn's and looked in their store, and they have all these fun things. There was nowhere I had to be. There was no one I had to answer to. There was no one I had to have with me. I could do it on my own. I could go as fast or as slow as I wanted. I could really be present in the moment. And it was just for me. And it was so thrilling. I was like, oh my gosh, this has been one of the best things I've ever done. It's just spend time intentionally with myself, doing things that I like. I don't have to go to 3 places because I like this place, you know? I don't have to only be here for a short amount of time because somebody else needs me to be somewhere else. I just got to be. And that was like a very great start to my self-discovery journey. Like, who am I and what do I want and what do I like? And this is when I really start thinking life does get to be good again. I started talking to other women who were further along, who've gone through a divorce and they are in their second chapter or their second half. And I guys started to see possibilities that I couldn't see before. That's what I really like about coaching is it introduces you to the fact that the things that you're staring at are not the only things. Those are just a couple of things. There's a world of possibilities out there. You get to decide.
It's exciting. That's so exciting though, because you really are tunnel vision.
Oh, yeah.
Your tunnel vision when you're going through that divorce and your survival mode, you know, you're trying
Yeah.
to do what you got to do. So it's like it broadens it. When you see somebody else do it, it broadens your view a little bit. Just a little bit and then a little
tiny bit. Yeah. It's evidence that it doesn't have to stay this way. So wherever you are doesn't have to stay because you see evidence of that in other women who are making strides in their own life.
Yeah, that's exciting. So we're thinking about, or you've got something in the works. Is there some a little bit you can share with us? Give us a sneak preview of what you're going to be doing.
I love that. Yes, I really have a heart for women who are going through divorce and separation. And this time of year can be so hard. It's so challenging. And, every commercial, every radio station, and every couple you see holding, not even a snow because we're in Florida, but it all seems so romantic. That they were just fighting in the car and they're just, you just assume. You
They got the perfect
Mary,
got
this is
the perfect
stop and
happy
intrusive.
right.
And you go. So I'm gonna start. I'm hoping to start it soon. I'll tell Gina when it's gonna go. But I'm thinking December 1st is my start date, and it is gonna be a group for women who are going through separation and divorce, and it's gonna have um definitely a Christ-like foundation. I don't want people to float away trying to find all these answers in different places. I want them to be grounded and know that, God is going to be with them through this. Like he's not condemning them. He's not thinking that they are too lost. He can't forgive this. That's not true. And so I want people to feel open and free to share what they're going through, but also with the idea that they're going to be moving forward. This isn't going to be like trauma dumping.
Right. That's good.
Right. Yeah, it is a space for you to share and be encouraged, but also I'm going to come in and do tools and do issues and topics that'll help you move forward. And I think what I'm going to do is have it on WhatsApp. What's up? What I said, what's up app. But I don't think
So where people can be, where you people can hop in anytime they
yeah,
want.
let that hop in. So I'll set that up. I'll give Gia the link for it, but it's gonna be a paid container, but it's set at $25 and is limited to 20 to 25 people because I want it to be a community and I don't want people to get lost in it. And I'll come in and do some topics and talks and coaching on various things and answer people's questions. Yeah, I'm excited about it. I think it's going to be a really great space because you don't have to be on Zoom. You don't have to be in there at a certain specific sets of time. You can just come and go as it works for you.
And I love that because that's so God. Like it's like you've gone through this really tough thing. You're coming out on the other side. You have a little bit of wisdom, a little bit of experience, a little bit of hope, a little bit of light in window, and then to turn around and share it with somebody else, Because I know when I was going through all that, I went to the first person that I knew that was another homeschool mom she was either separated or got a divorce. And I would just help me, because, you want to, especially people that have a faith and, it's put you at a different spot when you're walking with God and then walking with other women who are this.
I love that. And also, I wanted to do it because it can be so easily to isolate yourself, especially if you're a Christian or you come from any kind of faith-based background, because you've heard people say things about people who are divorced. You've seen the things on Facebook that tells you that people give up too soon or they don't try hard enough, or you hear people say, you can't hang around divorced women because it's contagious. And you can feel ashamed of it and you can feel condemned by it. So this will be an easy entry into support and encouragement. You don't have to show your face, but you can share your story and we will be there to support you.
Yeah, I love that. I'm so excited.
Thank you.
I'm so excited. And I know you did something like that last year. And in some weird way, it came up on my Facebook recently. Like someone commented on it from a class that you had done a year ago. And then all these people started commenting. They were like, oh my gosh, and that sounds so cool. And I have a friend, and I was like, oh, wait a minute. That's from a year ago.
Yeah. I think it was the Birth Girl Summer Camp.
Yeah, this actually there really is a need. There really is. I will say for myself, when I was going through a divorce, I was looking for, I went on Audible to find books on divorce, especially I think I was looking for Christian authors or people. There was 5. There was
Oh my
5
gosh.
total. Like, and I was like, oh man, they're like, there's not more resources that,
Yeah.
So I think it's a much needed thing. So
Yeah.
I'm
Yeah.
excited and I can't
Thank
believe
you.
you're and I'm so thankful that you came on here today. And I think we'll have to do a part 2 on this at some point because there's just so much more. And
Yeah.
then after you get it going and you have some a little insight,
Yeah, what people are dealing with or struggling with.
Right, right.
And we have to talk, we have to come back to talk about how your kids will be okay.
Yes, yes. There's so many things.
Yeah.
And also the identity, we're not going to get off on all that, but is a lot of times we want to say like, I'm something like I'm old, I'm fat, I'm a wife, I'm divorced, and that's not, I'm a child of God.
Amen.
He's divorced, what I mean? Like,
Yeah.
and so just changing that identity.
Yes.
Not locking into that and keeping yourself in this like
Right.
victimhood spot. So
Because it does affect your mindset when you're putting a negative connotation on who do you think you are?
yeah. Awesome. Well, thank you so much.
Thank you for having me.
Last thought that you want to leave with us?
I would say,
Be good again.
like, that's good to begin again. Give yourself grace.
Yeah.
I mean, you would give it to a friend. You would give it to your daughter. You would give it to a stranger. You would give them a hug. Give yourself grace too.
Yeah.
You could do hard things.
Yeah. I love that so much. All right. Thank you, my friends.
Thank you.
Have an awesome week.
Talk to you later.
All right. So, my Taken Back Happy friends, if you are currently separated or going through a divorce, or you have a friend that's in this position and you want to get in on this program that Lawana is offering, it's going to be called Life Redefined. And it's for women who are making their way through divorce or separation into her next chapter. And if you're interested in that, just hit me up and I'll give you the details. I'll have some of them in the show notes here, and we'll also post them in the Taken Back Happy Facebook group. So until next week, my friend, keep on taking back your happy, especially as we go through the holidays. Let's be really focused on taking back our happy and sharing that happy with others. If this podcast blessed and encouraged you today, I'd love for you to share it with your friends. You can take a screenshot and share it in your stories, but make sure you tag me at Gina Granville so we can connect. You can find me on Facebook, Instagram, and TikTok. Make sure you join my Taken Back Happy Facebook group. I'll meet you back here soon, and we'll continue taking back happy together.